So, finally, some good, I guess, better news of late. I've noticed the panic buying isn't as bad. Uh, Went to the store and people had normal things in their carts, like small items of food, not a whole, maybe a 4 pack of toilet paper, and there was still toilet paper there. There was food, and granted, the pasta section in the local Walmart is still ravaged, but it's slowly getting back up. I found a canned tomato sauce that I normally love. They had a couple racks of those, so that was nice. So this is the part, I believe we're starting into that part where I talked about where it's going to be the lull. We've gotten over this, but the monetary nuclear bomb has already left the bay of the plane. The plane has gone over, and the plane is the Fed, and the monetary bomb has been released. The nuclear monetary bomb is on its way. These things are lagging. So this is your time to get ready still before we start seeing some real dislocations and the real currency destruction happens. At least that's my theory. I mean, it could happen sooner, but I'm banking on that because I need to get ready a little bit too. But right now, this was your dress rehearsal of what can happen when these panics occur, what people are capable of, and some of the irrationality of prioritization. Who would have guessed toilet paper? I don't know. And then also seeing, precious metals decoupling from the paper market. We're seeing some of the paper market. I don't know if it's kind of weird because the market went up than most it's ever been. I think today, like 2,000 points, which like I said before, like there's places to get in at that time. But hey, if you don't have the time, the best thing to do is invest in yourself. And if you're good at something, they provide value to others and your family, then do that. Invest in that. That's something tangible, and there will always be some value to that. Instead of relying on somebody else and putting your money in a virtual casino at this point, it's hard to go wrong with investing yourself. Even if you lose money, you usually come out with some kind of knowledge and you learn something. So, but if you can provide value for somebody, that's where I'd put my money, because then you'll get a return. You'll get a return on that investment for sure. But anyway, the precious metals were going up with the market, which usually, I don't know. This could be a feint. I hope that there's still time to get in. I know I just got my shipment of gold. It seems like the gold supply there's been a shipment from the mints. I finally got one of mine to go out. It's been only a few weeks. I bought it before all this hoopla was happening, and I guess I got caught up in all this, and it didn't. 15 days, and then I had another one that right when this happened, I was like, well, you know what, they're depressing the price of silver, so I got some silver and another gold coin, or not an ounce. I seem to buy 10th ounce. That's because I'm not a rich man, so I'd buy 10th ounce gold coins, and I might go up from, if I get a chance, a little bit higher. But anyway, and that one's still pending, even though I see that they've got the supply back. Granted, higher price, higher premium. I mean, you're not getting it as close to spot as you used to, because people are still trying to. There's still there's still a lot of people trying to convert currency to money. But I think you'll get another chance, hopefully. And like I said, this is the lull. This was like a dress rehearsal. You get to see where people put their priorities, how they act, how irrational they are, and where you should put your priorities. So the time to panic or to act is before the scenario occurs. And when the scenario happens, in this case, whatever virus, whatever this monetary collapse in the future, usually when this happens too, other things are likely to occur, whether it be war, another pandemic of some sort, or some sort of terrorist attack, when you have some other event. So any of these things could occur. Now, that is the time that you need to keep your head and be able to make rational decisions. Sorry, I got a little bit of stuff. Don't believe it, it's not the coronavirus. I mean, I was at Sportsman's Warehouse the other day, and I sneezed in the aisle, and I got to look like I was carrying the plague. It's like, well, you guys mopped. You got so many chemicals running around here. Of course, I'm gonna freaking sneeze here and there. But we're so paranoid. Another thing that I see what I did as I did like a recon. I went around and I looked around and seen what people were doing, what people were buying, not just food. I went to sporting goods stores to see what kind of ammunition is going, what kind of weapons are being bought. Oddly enough, one caliber that I'm not saying go buy this caliber, but it's interesting because there's two ways of thinking about this, and then I'm going to cut this short. But I went there. There was 5.56, 223 were gone. 9 millimeter pretty much gone. Some other little calibers. A lot of the box 22 long rifle is gone. But there's a lot of 40 Smith and Wesson. It's common round for a handgun. There was 6.8 spec. What else was there? 6.5 Creedmoor. Plenty of those. So you can look at it a couple ways. One, you can get a weapon that the availability, what other people aren't going after. So maybe a 40 Smith & Wesson might be a good personal handgun, and maybe a 6.8 spec and an AR platform. I mean, maybe. Sounds good. I tend to go the other direction since I'm not panicking during the crisis. I'm panicking before it. I'm keeping my head on a swivel, and I am calm during the crisis. So what I'd like to do, my train of thought is, I'll get something like a 5.56 or 223, whatever slasher they call the 223 Wild or whatever it is. If you have to err on the side of one, I go 5.56 and a 9 millimeter. Those are the rounds I'm looking at, because here's my train of think. The chances of, if the world goes into a nuclear holocaust for some god-awful reason, plan for the worst, hope for the best. So if I have to acquire those rounds, more people that I run into or more friends or groups are going to more likely have those same rounds. And that's the way I look at it. I'm more likely to come across those rounds. Maybe not in a store, but if you don't want to catch my drift. But you prepare before this whole thing happens. So yeah, take it for what it is. Hopefully people seem to be calming down a little bit. Granted, like we talked about before, the overstepping of government. Maybe not totally. There's a lot of, I'm going to call them goose steppers, lock steppers out there that are getting on the people about going out and outside and whatever, getting fresh air, going to a store, and they're complaining that we might be spreading the virus. Granted, it just seems nonsensical. One, you got Walmart's open and everybody's going in there, and people are more accepting of that. But when I look at a Walmart and all the same people that are supposedly quarantined, but they can go to Walmart and interact with each other, be next to each other, and kind of defeats the whole purpose. Call me crazy, but there's a lot of people that I've seen. Oh, well, you stay home, and they're just, the facts. Well, apparently they don't. They don't understand it. Right now, the influence is winning this war. I'll tell you that. They got more deaths just in the U.S. so far this year, just in the U.S. as compared to Corona over the world, or whatever, COVID-19, Wuhan virus, whatever it is. So the rationality. The point is they just gave up without a whimper, without even questioning authority, without even looking at it themselves. They just took the word of it, and they locked themselves away, and they expect everybody else to, in the form of even, seems like some of these people are so lockstep that they might even condone the use of force against you. That's where I see the next logical step. But anyway, so I guess that irrationality is still out there. Instead of just using your mind, the people that should be worried should probably stay inside if you're older or whatnot, or if you have respiratory issues, or if you have a compromised immune system, maybe you should stay inside. Maybe you should have somebody else go shopping for you and drop it off at the front door with minimal contact. But people like myself who are reasonable shape and have good immune systems, maybe I can go outside. Maybe even if I'm exposed to that, a low load exposure to that virus might not actually be a bad thing. I might develop immunity, just like I do with the flu. I'm not saying I'm going to go look for it, but I'm sure I've already come into contact with it. I'm sure the majority of people around have come into contact with this thing by now. You just don't show any symptoms, or if it's such a low grade. It's not like somebody sneezing in your face. You're getting just a little bit of contact with it, and you're developing an autoimmune response from just a very minimal exposure. And probably good. Here we go. I'm sure somebody drives right by, loud as hell. Let's just cut the exhaust tube off or whatever the hell they got going on out there. But anyway, I'm just not too worried about it. I'm more worried about the ramifications of our actions here, whether it be economically or liberty-wise, and the response of a so-called free country without even a whimper. They just fall lockstep in with the government. So anyway, I'm gonna cut this one short.